Slowly, very slowly, you open your eyes again, and as you do, the sky has shifted once more. The pale gold has deepened into richer amber, the silver streaks fading into a soft blush of rose and violet. It is the hour before true evening, when the sun prepares to set but has not yet touched the horizon. The light becomes softer, wrapping itself around every shape and shadow like a silk scarf. You rise from your knees, standing once more beneath that endless sky, the stone beneath your feet now fully revealed. Its carved script gleams faintly in the amber light, as though the letters themselves are alive, breathing along with you. You stand there for a long moment, simply breathing, simply being. The wind moves around you again, cool and steady, carrying with it the quiet voice that you have heard before. But now, it feels closer, warmer, more familiar. Xixia, Xixia, the name echoes gently within your chest, vibrating not as a sound, but as a feeling, a quiet weight, a steady presence. Like a hand resting lightly upon your shoulder, you look once more across the dunes, your gaze stretching out toward the horizon where the sky meets the sand in a line so faint it almost does not exist. And as you stand there, something within you softens completely. There is no more need to hold on to the weight of thought or memory or even language. The name is enough. The city is enough. The breath is enough. You close your eyes once again, allowing your entire body to relax from crown to sole, your shoulders dropping, your spine lengthening, your hands resting softly at your sides. Your jaw loosens, your brow smooths, and the gentle weight of the air around you presses down in the most comforting way, like a blanket of quiet night wrapped snug around your form. The wind becomes slower now. The sky deepens further into shades of rose and indigo, and as your breath slows to its quietest, most effortless rhythm, you feel yourself drifting, not away from the city, not away from the sand or the sky, but deeper into all of it, merging with the story carved upon stone, becoming part of the silence that stretches across golden dunes and star-scattered skies. There is no edge now between you and the world, only calm, only breath, only sleep. The sand and the script ultimate, expanded edition, emotion, sensory, philosophy. The sand beneath your feet feels impossibly soft, each step sinking in just slightly, as though the earth itself is offering you gentle resistance, not enough to slow you, merely enough to remind you that you are still here, still part of this quiet landscape. Every grain is warm, kissed by sunlight that now hovers low on the horizon, a great, glowing disk of amber, slowly descending into the embrace of distant dunes. The light stretches across the world in long, languid beams, painting everything it touches in hues of honey, rose gold, and pale silken copper. Even the sky itself seems to melt under the weight of this color, streaked with gentle clouds that do not race or scatter, but drift slowly, like ancient silk banners unfurling across an endless ceiling. The breeze stirs again, cool now, carrying with it not just the scent of sand and stone, but something subtler, more elusive. You inhale deeply and catch it, a faint trace of incense smoke, perhaps, or dried flowers crushed beneath careful feet. There is also the smell of parchment warmed by time, of wooden beams that have stood through countless seasons. It is not sharp or distinct, but layered and complex, an invisible perfume composed by the city itself, now reduced to memory, to wind. Ahead, you see once again the familiar dark shape rising from the sand, the slab of stone half buried beneath. Golden dust, its surface waiting quietly for your hand. Your feet carry you there without thought, as though drawn not by effort, but by inevitability, and as you kneel before it, the warmth of the ground seeps into your legs, anchoring you fully to this moment. You brush the sand away slowly, feeling each grain slip between your fingers like tiny crystals. The stone's surface emerges beneath. Your touch, cool, solid, undeniably real. And there they are again, the lines, the script, the story carved not in language as you know it, but in something deeper, script meant to be felt rather than read, understood not by eyes but by heart. As your fingertips trace the familiar curves and arcs, a thought rises in you, unbidden, but clear, that everything we leave behind, all the signs and symbols and stories, are in the end offerings to the future, not demands, not shouts, but quiet gifts, waiting in the sand for someone patient enough, gentle enough, to listen. You close your eyes now, and the stone beneath your hand becomes more than stone. It becomes a memory, layered upon memory. You see flickering images behind your closed lids, a scribe leaning over a scroll, brush in hand, their breathing slow and deliberate. The quiet rustle of silk robes moving through a temple's cool interior. The golden city glowing under moonlight, its walls casting soft shadows that stretch like sleeping giants. And beyond even that, you feel something larger, great, slow, pulse that underlies everything, the breath of time itself, not as a rush, not as a storm, but as a slow, steady tide. Civilizations rise and fall, scripts are carved and forgotten, names are spoken and then lost to the wind, but none of it disappears. It all settles here, in the quiet spaces between sand and stone, breath and silence. A soft ache grows in your chest, not painful, but poignant. A weight that feels both heavy and light, as though your body is being filled with golden sand. And in that ache is acceptance, that nothing is permanent, yet nothing is truly lost. That beauty exists not because it lasts forever, but because it doesn't. That every moment, each breath, each step, each line traced upon ancient stone is enough. Asterisk, when you open your eyes again, the world has shifted once more. The sky above has deepened into richer tones now, soft purples edged with silver and dusky gold. The sun has nearly set, its last rays catching upon the highest dunes, turning them into rivers of molten copper. The wind feels cooler now, brushing across your skin like silk held lightly between careful hands. You rise slowly, standing once more before the slab of stone, feeling its shape etched into your memory now, as surely as it is etched into the earth. You take a step back, allowing yourself a final, lingering glance. The script glows faintly in the fading light, not with any physical luminescence, but with the quiet glow of meaning remembered. And as you stand there, the thought arises again, that one day someone else may kneel here, another traveler, another seeker, someone unknown to you, yet connected. And they, too, will brush away the sand, and they, too, will feel the cool surface beneath their fingertips, and they, too, will listen. That connection stretches beyond language, beyond names, beyond even the rise and fall of empires. It is the simplest truth, that to exist is to leave traces, that to breathe is to shape the world around you, even in the smallest of ways. You turn now, your feet carrying you slowly away from the stone and back across the dunes. Each step sinks slightly into the sand, creating gentle indentations that the wind begins to erase almost as soon as they are made. You do not rush. There is no need. The wind is steady, the sky vast, and your heart full. Each breath feels deeper now, filling your chest with quiet warmth, grounding you in the present moment. The scent of incense fades, replaced by the sharper coolness of twilight air. The first stars begin to appear above you, single points of silver scattered across the darkening sky. Their light is steady and calm, ancient and immediate. You pause once more at the crest of a dune, looking back over your shoulder toward where the stone lies hidden once again beneath its blanket of golden dust. And in that moment, you feel no sadness, no longing, only gratitude. You close your eyes fully now, allowing your body to soften completely. Shoulders relaxing, jaw loosening, hands resting lightly at your sides. The wind wraps around you in long, quiet waves. Your breath slows to its gentlest rhythm, in and out, as steady as the pulse of time itself. You rise from the mat within the pavilion with a movement so slow and unhurried, it feels like part of a larger rhythm, like a leaf carried gently on still water. Your feet step once more onto the smooth stone path, now cool with dew beneath your soles. The moon is beginning to lower in the sky, its edges softening as the first hint of dawn touches the far horizon with the faintest brush of pale gold. You walk without thought, your body guided only by instinct and breath. Each step carries you closer to the source of the bell, deeper into the silent city that now begins to stir with the earliest light. As you move, the buildings around you take on new colors. The wooden walls and pale stone walkways shimmer faintly, beneath a sky shifting slowly from deep indigo to muted lavender, and finally into a breath of pale rose. Lanterns still glow along the pathways, their honey-colored light now blending with the softening night. You pass through an arched gateway carved with cloud patterns, its surface slick with the faint moisture of morning. Beyond it lies a wide plaza, the very heart of the city, open and quiet, its stones laid in perfect harmony, each slab positioned as if it were part of an ancient puzzle. In the center of the plaza stands the bell tower, tall and graceful, its silhouette now crowned with the first rays of dawn. The tower rises in elegant tiers, each level supported by carved beams and adorned with wooden screens that cast intricate shadows onto the stones below. And at its heart, suspended from the highest beam, hangs the great bell. It is made of metal, darkened with age, its surface etched with lines of script and swirling cloud motifs that catch the light as the sun begins to rise. You approach slowly, every step matching the quiet rhythm of your breath and the fading pulse of moonlight. Around you, the plaza remains empty. There are no crowds, no hurried steps, only the quiet hush of the wind moving gently across stone and wood As you draw near the tower's base, the bell sounds once more. This time, the note is clearer, deeper, resonating through your chest like the steady beat of a giant heart. You pause, standing perfectly still, and allow the sound to wash over you completely. Its vibration seems to stretch beyond the physical, filling the air and the earth and the sky until everything is humming gently in tune. The sun has now fully breached the horizon, sending its first beams of golden light spilling across the plaza. The bell tower is illuminated in full, its dark metal glowing softly in the dawn. You step beneath its shadow, tilting your head back to look up at the bell itself. The script carved upon its surface seems to shimmer now, the words coming into focus as though newly inscribed. Xixia, Xixia, the name of the forgotten empire, held here in silence for countless years, waiting not for grand armies or trumpets, but for quiet presence, for remembrance, for breath. You close your eyes and breathe once more, drawing the cool, fresh morning air into your lungs. With each inhale, you feel lighter. With each exhale, you release the last traces of weight and tension until your entire body exists only as quiet rhythm, quiet light. The bell sounds again, a final note that stretches into infinity, fading slowly into pure stillness. And as the last echo drifts away on the wind, you open your eyes once more. The plaza is bathed now in full morning light. The city around you gleams golden and bright, yet still retains its perfect calm. Gardens shimmer with dew. Lanterns flicker gently in the dawn breeze. Silk banners ripple like water above quiet streets. The city is awake now, not bustling but breathing, alive in a way that feels both ancient and entirely present. You begin to walk again, tracing the same quiet pathways that led you here. Your steps carry you back through the plaza, through the arched gate, past gardens and wooden halls. Everywhere you look, you notice new details revealed by the morning sun, the texture of stone walls, softened by centuries of wind, the glimmer of gold leaf upon wooden beams, the quiet drift of incense smoke from an unseen shrine. You move through all of it slowly, breathing in the layered scents of cedar ink, cool stone, and flowering trees. Each inhale deepens your sense of calm. Each exhale draws you further into stillness. As you return to the garden where the pavilion stands, you find the lotus flowers floating quietly upon the water, their pale petals opening now to greet the dawn. The moon is nearly gone, a faint ghost in the brightening sky, replaced by the rising sun that now crowns the entire city in a halo of golden light. You step once more onto the pavilion's wooden floor, lowering yourself into the same seated position as before, hands resting lightly in your lap, spine straight but relaxed, your eyes close, and for a moment there is nothing but breath and warmth and memory. In this moment, you carry with you everything the city has offered, its golden light, its silent bell, its endless sky. You breathe, slowly, deeply, inhale, exhale, letting yourself drift gently now, not towards sleep, but into a state beyond waking and dreaming, a place of perfect rest, perfect calm. The city of Xixia remains here, etched not only into stone and scroll, but into your heart. It lives, in the rhythm of breath, in the weightless quiet of morning air, in the silent bell at dawn. And as you continue to breathe, as your body softens completely into stillness. You allow yourself to rest now in the heart of that memory, calm, quiet, eternal. You stand now beneath an endless sky that stretches in every direction, painted in the softest shades of pale gold and muted silver. Colors so delicate they feel more like whispers of color, rather than anything solid or defined. There is no horizon here, only sky folding into sand, and sand folding into sky, as though the entire world has become a single, quiet breath, drawn in, and slowly, gently released. You are standing on warm, golden sand, once again. Beneath your feet, the grains shift subtly with each quiet movement, creating the faintest rustling sound, softer than silk sliding over smooth stone. The warmth of the sand rises into your soles, a steady, comforting heat, like the lingering warmth of sunlight, long after the sun itself has disappeared beyond the horizon. The air wraps around you in cool, invisible layers, moving in long, slow waves. Each breath you take fills your chest with air that tastes of quiet places, faintly sweet, like cedar wood left to dry in the sun, faintly cool, like parchment and silk touched by morning dew, faintly warm, like the last breath of a candle before it flickers out. And with each breath, you feel a little lighter, as though the last remnants of weight, of tension, of thought, begin to drift away from you, like sand being lifted by a gentle wind. You pause there for a long moment, not moving, not speaking, simply being. Your eyes follow the shifting patterns of light across the sand, golden ripples stretching outward like frozen waves upon a silent ocean. You notice how each grain of sand catches the sunlight differently, some glowing bright, like tiny specks of amber or crystal, others muted and soft like ash or moonlight dust. There is no noise here, no voices, no footsteps, but your own. Only the steady hush of the wind moving across the dunes, carrying with it a song that is so quiet, so constant. It feels like a heartbeat stretched thin across eternity. You begin to walk again, your steps slow and unhurried. Each movement is deliberate, as though you are tracing a path, not just through the desert, but through time itself. And then, you see it once more, half buried beneath layers of drifting sand, a stone, darker than the golden sand around it, its edges softened by countless years of wind and weather, yet still unmistakably deliberate. You kneel beside it, feeling the warm grains shift beneath your knees, your hands moving instinctively to brush away the dust and sand that has settled upon its surface. Slowly, with infinite patience, you reveal the carved lines once more, graceful, curving symbols that rise and fall like waves, like clouds, like breath. You run your fingers gently along the grooves, feeling their texture beneath your skin. The stone is cool beneath the surface warmth, as though it holds within it not just the heat of the sun, but something deeper, something older. And as your fingertips follow the lines, you feel it again, the quiet pulse of memory, the echo of the city you have just left, gardens filled with drifting petals, quiet halls lined with scrolls and inkstones, wooden pavilions bathed in moonlight, silent bell towers casting shadows across golden plazas. All of it lives here, within this single carved stone, not just as a memory in your mind, but as something real and present, etched into the fabric of the world itself. You close your eyes, letting your breath slow even further, feeling the rise and fall of your chest match the rhythm of the wind. And in that stillness, you begin to notice details within your own body. The gentle weight of your hands resting upon your thighs, the coolness of the air moving past your cheek, the steady, quiet pulse of your heartbeat, not rushing, not forced, but calm and deliberate, like waves upon a distant shore. You are standing in a place where the horizon stretches in all directions, where sky meets sand in a seamless, endless embrace. The air around you is cool and dry, carrying a faint, almost imperceptible scent of ancient stone, sun-warmed dust, and the ghost of forgotten incense. Beneath your feet, the sand is soft, impossibly fine, like powdered silk sifting gently beneath each step. You walk slowly, without hurry, your feet sinking just slightly with every movement, leaving behind a trail that the wind begins to erase almost as soon as it is made. The sky above you is painted in pale, translucent colors, lavender-streaked, with silver and soft amber, as though a gentle hand has brushed watercolor across the heavens. The sun sits low on the horizon, no longer harsh and bright, but round and golden, casting long, fluid shadows across the dunes that ripple like frozen waves. You notice how the sand changes color as the light shifts, from pale gold to deep ochre, to a subtle blush of rose and violet in the places where shadows gather. There is no sound but the whisper of the wind. It moves around you constantly, a soft, continuous presence, not sharp, but steady and patient, as though it has been blowing this way for thousands of years. You breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with this ancient air, and feel your body relax further with each exhalation. The rhythm of your breathing becomes slow, calm, deliberate, like waves rising and falling along some distant, unseen shore. Your arms hang loosely by your sides. Your gaze is gentle, wandering over the dunes as though they are old friends. The entire world seems wrapped in softness. Soft light, soft wind, soft sand. After a while, you notice something different beneath your foot. Where the ground has been yielding and smooth, there is now something firm and solid. You pause, look. Down, half buried in the sand, is a dark stone slab. Its edges are rounded, weathered by time and wind, but its surface is unmistakably not natural. You kneel slowly, feeling the warmth of the sand against your knees. Your hands reach out without thought, instinct guiding you as you begin to brush away the fine dust that clings to the stone's surface. Each movement is deliberate, patient, almost ceremonial. As your fingers work, more of the slab is revealed. The stone is cool beneath your touch, smooth in some places, pitted and rough in others, like the surface of a river stone that has traveled for centuries. And then you see them, carvings, lines etched into the stone, some thick, bold strokes, others as fine as a hair, curling and sweeping with an elegance that speaks of careful, practiced hands. You trace one of the symbols slowly, feeling the shallow groove beneath your fingertip. Though you do not recognize the language, you feel instinctively that these markings mean something, not just random scratches, but a message, a story held in stone, waiting to be remembered. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing your other senses to rise. The air smells faintly of dust warmed by the sun. The wind brushes past your face in gentle rhythmic pulses. And then, so faintly you wonder if it is only your imagination, you hear something, a voice, or perhaps it is only the wind speaking. Through the grooves of the stone, a whisper, Xixia, Xixia. You open your eyes again, and as you do, the world around you begins to shift. The sand shimmers. Colors change not suddenly, but gradually, like pigment spreading across wet paper. The dunes flatten. The sky deepens to a clearer, richer blue, and before you, rising from the earth itself, a city appears. It stands quiet and tall beneath the sky, a city of golden walls and smooth stone pathways, of towers and pagodas crowned with bells that catch the light. The walls stretch out on either side, curving gracefully with the landscape. Flags ripple gently atop the ramparts, moving in time with the wind that has not ceased. The gates of the city stand open not as though abandoned, but as though waiting, inviting you. Take a step forward. The sand beneath your feet becomes firmer, until it is stone flat and worn smooth by the passage of countless feet. The path beneath you is pale, sun-bleached. You move slowly, savoring each step. The rhythm of your breathing matches the rhythm of your walking, slow, steady, unhurried. As you pass through the gate, you run your hand along the cool stone wall. Beside you, tracing the same kind of carvings you saw on the slab in the desert. Everywhere you look, there are signs of care and memory. Lanterns hang from wooden posts, their paper sides painted with flowing script and gentle images of clouds and mountains. Banners drift lazily in the breeze, dyed in soft shades of red, gold, and jade green. The air inside the city is cooler, touched with scents that speak of both life and stillness. Cedar wood, old paper, the faint sweetness of dried flowers. The streets are quiet, not empty, but quiet, a calm quiet. You walk past market stalls lined with folded silks in crimson and jade. Clay jars filled with spices sit in neat rows, saffron, star anise, powdered sandalwood, baskets of dried fruits, figs, dark plums are displayed as if the market had only just closed, waiting for the next morning to come. You pause by one of the stalls, lift a bundle of silk from its resting place. It feels impossibly light in your hands, so smooth it seems to slip like water through your fingers. You breathe in. The scent of cedarwood rises from the fabric, subtle and warm. You let the silk drift back into place and continue walking. The city unfolds around you like a painting brought to life. Stone paths wind between low buildings with curved tile roofs, their edges marked by rows of small bronze bells that chime softly in the wind. You follow the path until it leads you to a temple gate. It stands tall, carved with images of dragons and clouds, their forms softened by countless years of wind and sun. You push one side of the gate gently, and it swings open without a sound. Inside is a garden. Smooth stones laid in careful patterns form pathways between flowering trees. A pond lies at the garden's center, its surface perfectly still. The water is so clear it reflects the sky above, mirroring the deepening colors of dusk. You pause by the water's edge, watching as a single petal from a nearby tree drifts down. landing on the pond's surface with barely a ripple. The air here smells of blossoms, pale and sweet, never cloying. You walk slowly along the garden path. Each step is deliberate, matched to the quiet rhythm of your breath. Inhale, exhale, as you breathe. Your body feels lighter, your mind quieter. The sky above begins to deepen from blue to indigo. Lanterns positioned along the garden path flicker to life, one by one, casting pools of warm golden light onto the stones. Somewhere beyond the garden, a bell rings once. Its sound is not loud, not urgent, only steady and calm, like a heartbeat echoing through time. You stand beneath a flowering tree, watching as more petals fall slowly through the air. The wind stirs them gently, sending them drifting across the surface of the pond in slow, swirling patterns. You close your eyes, listen to the bell, to the wind, to the silence. There is no rush here, only peace, only stillness. When you open your eyes again, you know that it is time to leave. The city waits always, but for now, your journey must continue. You walk slowly back toward the gate. The sky above is now rich with stars, scattered across deep blue velvet like silver grains spread by a careful hand. Each step you take is slower, softer, as though the weight of the world has grown lighter. As you step once more onto the soft sand outside the city walls, the vision begins to fade. The walls dissolve into shadow. The pathways become dunes once more. The lanterns flicker and then are gone. But one thing remains, the name Xixia. It rests quietly in your mind, like a stone carved with ancient script, and with that name in your heart, you breathe in once more, slow and deep, and allow yourself to drift gently, completely into sleep. And as the sky darkens fully into night, as the stars above deepen into endless constellations, you allow yourself to drift completely, not away, but deeper, into sleep, into stillness, into the quiet heart of the forgotten empire, where breath becomes script, where wind becomes story, where sand becomes memory, and memory becomes peace. Shall I now proceed to compile all 5 expanded chapters into a single file, or deliver the next step? Let me know if you'd like the full master script formatted as a text file, PDF, or subtitle-ready document. The wooden door before you is tall and dark, its surface polished to a soft luster from countless seasons of careful hands brushing over it. Your fingertips move across the grain of the wood before pushing gently against its weight. As the door yields, a soft exhalation of cooler air brushes against your face, a breath from the quiet space beyond. You step forward. Before you stretches a hall so vast and silent, its scale seems impossible. The air inside is cool and dry, touched by an earthy scent. Cedar aged for centuries, dust warmed by stray shafts of sunlight, the faintest trace of beeswax, used long ago to polish wood. The floor beneath your feet is smooth stone inlaid with pale jade tiles, worn soft by countless careful footsteps. You pause to notice how those steps have shaped faint depressions in the stone, shallow and smooth, like the bed of a river worn gently over time. To either side of you rise towering shelves carved from deep, dark wood, walnut and sandalwood, and something older still, wood so ancient its grain glimmers with hidden streaks of silver in the muted light. Each shelf holds scrolls, wrapped in silken cloth, dyed in muted colors, moss green, faded vermilion, cloud gray. The silk edges are worn to a gentle fray, some embroidered with thread so fine it catches only when the light strikes at just the right angle. You take a slow breath in, drawing air through your nose, letting its cool dryness spread through your chest. The smell is layered. Old ink, long dried on brittle parchment. Fresh cut cedar logs from years past. A whisper of smoke from a long extinguished brazier. Beneath it all, the smell of time itself impossible to describe, but unmistakable. You step forward, each footfall measured, deliberate. Your sandals whisper softly against the stone. No sound rises beyond that. No footsteps, no voices, only the faint rustle of paper caught in a wandering breeze, though there is no wind in this place. Perhaps it is only the breath of the scrolls themselves, rustling in their silken wrappings, like quiet memories stirring in sleep as you walk. You notice small details, carved brackets shaped like clouds and mountain peaks holding each shelf. In place, scroll ends capped with jade, ivory, sometimes darkened bronze, polished until it gleams like a mirror. You pause beside one shelf and reach out with slow, reverent motion, your fingertips brushing the edge of a scroll's silk cord. The fabric is cool, textured with tiny embroidered patterns, waves, clouds, ancient script. You do not unroll it. There is no need. Each scroll holds a story, yes, but the stories are present in the room itself, in the weight of the air, in the grain of wood beneath your fingers, in the worn pathways between shelves where feet have passed 1,000 times before. Ahead of you, light filters in through a series of tall, narrow windows set high in the wall. Their frames are carved from dark cherry wood, polished smooth and shining faintly in the sunlight. The paper screens within are dyed the color of old parchment, and the light that passes through them becomes pale, gold diffused, soft as honey, poured slowly across a smooth surface. That light paints long stripes across the floor, across the scrolls, across your hands as you walk. You lift one hand, palm upward, watching how the golden light pools in the hollow between your thumb and forefinger, before spilling out in liquid streams as you turn your wrist slowly back and forth. Even the dust in the air dances within that light, countless tiny motes drifting in lazy spirals, catching and releasing color like falling snow in slow motion. Further along, you find a low table placed precisely at the junction of two shelves. It is carved from a single slab of pale wood, its surface polished so smooth it reflects the shape of your hand as you rest your palm lightly upon it. Upon the table sits a scroll already unfurled. The parchment is the color of bone, its surface slightly rough beneath your fingers. The ink so black it seems almost to shimmer with blue in certain light. The characters upon the scroll flow like water, long looping strokes, interspersed with sharp points, arranged with deliberate space between them, so that each breath of script has room to settle. You lean closer, breathing in the scent of old paper, soft, dry, layered with the mineral scent of dust and ink and cedar oil rubbed gently into the wood long ago. You close your eyes. For a moment, there is only this, the texture of stone beneath. Your knees where you kneel beside the table, the warmth of light across the back of your neck, the faint echo of your own breath moving in and out of your body, in perfect rhythm with the quiet world around you. The library breathes with you. When you open your eyes again, you notice something else. Along the base of each shelf, small bronze bells are affixed to carved wooden posts. The bells are no larger than the size of your thumb, shaped like inverted lotus blossoms, each one tied with a thread of crimson silk. As the air stirs, so faintly that you feel it more than hear it, the bells sway, releasing the quietest chima. Notes so soft it seems less like a sound and more like a memory returning after a long sleep. You rise slowly, your movements fluid, allowing your body to stretch gently as you stand once more in the golden light. Your shadow stretches beside you, now, long and wavering slightly in the dust-laced beams. You walk again, this time trailing your fingers lightly along the edge of the shelves as you pass, feeling the warmth stored in the wood, the cool ridges of carved patterns worn smooth by age, the occasional soft tug of silk fringe brushing against your knuckles. That at last, you come to the far end of the hall. Here, the ceiling rises even higher, vanishing into darkness. The shelves grow taller, rising into shadow like the trunks of ancient trees in a forest so old no living thing remembers its first seed. But despite the scale, there is no weight, no heaviness, only calm, only quiet. In the very center of this space stands a raised platform made of pale stone, inlaid with thin strips of jade and gold. Upon it rests a single scroll, larger than the others, wrapped in black silk, embroidered with lines of silver thread that catch the light like stars glimmering in deep water. You approach it slowly, kneel. Rest your hands lightly upon your thighs, and simply breathe. The scent here is richer, concentrated. Cedar, warm dust, the faint temps of old metal from the jade and gold inlays. The air tastes of age, but not decay. Preservation, care, memory. You close your eyes once more, and in the darkness behind your lids, the entire library stretches on, row upon row of scrolls, shelf upon shelf of words folded quietly into silk, story upon story layered, like sand and wind and stone, and within all of it, silence, not the silence of absence, the silence of presence, held gently in stillness. You breathe again, deeper, now letting your breath merge with the rhythm of the space. Inhale, pause, exhale, as slow and steady as the turning of scrolls beneath careful hands, as smooth as light pouring through parchment screens. The pavilion holds everything, the past, the present, the breath of empires folded gently into paper and string, and as you rest within it, you become part of its story, not as words written in ink, but as presence written in air and breath and quiet. You step away from the pavilion of endless scrolls, moving now through a long wooden corridor whose walls seem to breathe with quiet history. The air grows warmer again, touched by late afternoon, light filtering through tall, narrow windows framed with cherry wood lattice. The grain of the wood beneath your fingers is warm and smooth, polished by time and weather. Each step echoes softly beneath you, yet the echo is never sharp. A whisper upon the stone floor, a gentle reminder that you are still walking. As you continue forward, The corridor opens into a new space. You pause on its threshold. Before you lies a garden unlike any you have seen within the city, or perhaps anywhere in the waking world. It is neither fully enclosed nor entirely open, suspended between earth and sky as though carved from a quiet dream. The air is filled with golden light that glows, not from sun alone, but from countless lanterns suspended from curved wooden beams, arching above the space like the ribs of a great vessel. Each lantern is shaped like a star, some pointed and sharp-edged, some rounded like lotus petals. Their surfaces are made of translucent silk stretched across thin bone frames, dyed in shades of pearl, amber, and muted jade. The lanterns sway gently with the air, each movement releasing a faint, honey-colored glow that spills downward in soft ripples, pooling upon the stones and the water below. Because there is water here. At the heart of the garden lies a vast reflecting pool, its surface so still it mirrors the sky and the lanterns perfectly, as though there are two worlds, one above, one below. Between these mirrored worlds stretches a single stone path, narrow and delicate, laid from pale jade tiles that gleam faintly beneath your feet. You step onto the path without hesitation, though there is no rush in your movement. The air carries a scent both floral and mineral, fresh river water, flowering magnolia, the faint sweetness of distant incense. As you walk, each footstep sends gentle ripples across the surface of the water, but the ripples never disturb the reflections. They fold into each other smoothly, becoming part of the endless pattern. On either side of the pool grow trees shaped like clouds' branches, sprawling in wide, flat curves, each leaf silver green, their undersides catching the lantern light like brushed metal. Petals drift continuously from unseen blossoms above, small, pale things that fall like quiet snow, spiraling slowly before touching the surface of the pool and vanishing without sound. The garden holds a profound silence, but not emptiness. The silence feels alive, as though something is listening, watching yet not intrusively. It is a presence that welcomes rather than waits, that embraces rather than asks. You breathe deeper, and even your breath feels mirrored in the still air around you. Inhale, ... exhale, ... and the garden seems to pulse gently in time as you move farther along the stone path. You notice small altars positioned at regular intervals, low wooden tables placed directly upon the path, each bearing quiet offerings. A folded silk ribbon, a single white feather, a cup filled with clear water that shimmers in the lantern light. These offerings are not grand. They are not for show. They are gestures, echoes, remembrances. At the very center of the garden, the path widens into a circular platform surrounded on all sides by water and sky. Here, there are no altars, no trees, only space. You step into the center and stand completely still. Above you, the lanterns sway. Below you, the water glimmers. And beyond both, in the sky now deepening into early evening, the first true stars begin to appear, pale points of silver scattered across the darkening blue, perfectly mirrored in the pool beneath your feet. You feel yourself surrounded now by stars, not distant points of light, but as though you stand within a sphere of quiet brilliance, embraced by constellations old, beyond remembering. The sky above is vast, The water below is endless, and you, standing between them, feel neither small nor large. You simply feel present, complete, whole. A thought rises then, as soft as the wind moving across the garden, that all things exist between worlds, between memory and forgetting, between presence and absence, between sky and water, between waking and sleep. You close your eyes gently. Your breath deepens again, moving now not from habit but from intention. Each inhale a gathering of light and calm. Each exhale a quiet offering to the space around you. And in that space, you feel again the quiet echo of a name, Xixia, not shouted, not spoken, only present, woven into the fabric of the air and water and stone. You stand there for as long as you wish. There is no time here, only rhythm, only breath, and when you choose to move again, it is not as a leaving, but as a continuation. You turn slowly, your feet tracing once more the pale jade path back toward the corridor from which you came. Each step returns you through ripples and reflections, through drifting petals and golden light, until the garden lies behind you, not vanished, but folded gently into the same quiet layer where all memories of beauty reside. You carry it with you now, the garden between stars, not as a place on a map, but as a space within breath, within silence, within the slow, endless rhythm of life unfolding in time. You step beyond the garden between stars, leaving its mirrored pool and cloud-shaped trees behind, as though walking from one layer of a dream into another, subtler dream nested quietly within it. The corridor narrows once again, its walls made now not from carved wood or polished stone, but from something darker, lacquered panels, the color of deep plum and blackened ink, their surfaces so smooth and reflective they seem to dissolve into pure shadow. Yet even in this dimness, the air remains gentle. There is no coldness here, only coolness, the kind that settles lightly upon your skin like a silk scarf left resting across your shoulders. Your footsteps grow even softer now, as though the floor beneath you has become cloud rather than stone. Each step leaves no sound, no echo. Even your breath seems quieter, dissolving into the stillness that surrounds you, like mist rising from a hidden spring. And as you walk, a new kind of awareness rises within you, sharper yet more peaceful. A sense that every small movement, the brush of your sleeve against your wrist, the shift of weight from one foot to the next, is part of something greater, something deliberately crafted and endlessly unfolding. Ahead of you, another doorway appears. Its frame is inlaid with mother of pearl, catching stray glimmers of light that ripple along its surface in liquid waves. The doorway stands open, revealing a chamber beyond unlike any you have seen in the city thus far. You step inside slowly, and as you do, the air changes. It grows even cooler, touched now with the faintest scent of sandalwood and rain on stone. A scent so delicate it feels more like a memory than a physical presence. The chamber of mirrors and shadows stretches out before you in a perfect, seamless circle. Its floor is made from a single sheet of polished black stone, so flawlessly reflective that for a moment it feels as though you are standing on still water rather than solid ground. Your own image stretches out beneath you, every line of your form mirrored perfectly in the stone. From the tilt of your head to the slow, deliberate rise and fall of your breath. Around the perimeter of the chamber, tall mirrors are arranged, like silent sentinels. Each mirror stands within a frame carved from dark rosewood, its surface edged with patterns of clouds, cranes, and layered mountain ranges rendered in delicate silver inlay. The mirrors themselves are not ordinary glass. They shimmer faintly with an inner light, reflecting not only what stands before them, but something deeper, a second layer of image that seems to hover just behind the surface. You walk slowly along the curve of the chamber, pausing in front of each mirror in turn. As you stand before one, you notice that it does not show you as you are now, exactly. The face looking back at you is yours, yes, but softened, quieter. Your eyes seem deeper, your posture more relaxed. There is no tension in your jaw, no furrow in your brow. The reflection breathes with you in perfect rhythm, yet it feels older somehow, not in age, but in wisdom, as though it reflects not merely your form, but your truest state, calm, present, complete. You move to the next mirror, and the image changes again. This time, you see yourself as though standing within the garden between stars once more. Lanterns swaying gently above your head, petals drifting around you in slow spirals. The mirror holds this vision perfectly. Water, sky, breath. It does not feel like illusion. It feels like memory made visible. You continue moving from mirror to mirror, each one offering a different reflection. In some, you walk through golden streets beneath banners fluttering in the wind. In others, you kneel before the ancient stone, tracing its carved script with quiet reverence. In each, you are always calm, always breathing, always steady. As you complete the slow circuit of the room, you arrive at the final mirror. It stands directly opposite the entrance, slightly taller than the others, its frame inlaid with both jade and lapis lazuli, cool and blue-green like still water under moonlight. You stand before it, letting your breath settle completely. And as the image resolves within its surface, you realize something simple and profound. This mirror reflects not an image of you in a place, nor you in a moment. It reflects you as you are now, standing quietly in the chamber of mirrors and shadows, surrounded by silence and breath. But there is no delay between your movement and the mirrors. No lag, no division. You raise one hand slowly. The reflection does the same, and for a moment so pure, it feels like holding your breath at the very top of an inhale. You experience yourself as completely unified, body and reflection, breath and silence, presence and image. There is no boundary now between inside and outside, no separation between thought and form, between watcher and watched. Only this. You lower your hand again, and the mirror lowers it with you, perfectly synchronized. A quiet pulse moves through the room then, not sound, not vibration, but a feeling, as though the air itself has exhaled gently, wrapping around you like water flowing through cupped hands. You step back from the final mirror, allowing your gaze to soften, letting the room blur slightly at the edges. The tall reflections stand around you now like calm companions, each holding not just images of you, but echoes of the city itself, its gardens, its scrolls, its silent bell towers, and all of it feels present, alive. You turn slowly and begin to walk back toward the entrance. Each step carries you across the perfectly mirrored floor, leaving no trace, no mark. Your shadow folds beneath you, dissolving into light and reflection, as though even your weight is part of the larger calm. When you step once more through the doorway into the corridor beyond, the air grows warmer again. The scent of sandalwood fades, replaced by cedar, ink, and river stone. You pause for a final moment on the threshold, glancing back once more at the chamber of mirrors and shadows. The doorway remains open. The mirrors shimmer quietly in there, silent ring dot, and as you breathe in deeply, slow, steady, deliberate, you carry with you the certainty that what you saw in those mirrors was not an illusion. It was simply a clearer vision of what already exists within you. Calm, steady presence. You walk forward again, leaving the chamber behind, feeling your breath smooth and unbroken, your steps lighter than before. Shall I proceed with the next chapter? Perhaps moving back into the outer city landscape, expanding into a sunset courtyard, or deepening into interpersonal meditative experiences inside the Xixia environment. Let me know your thematic preference. You walk now through the city's outermost gate, your steps slow, unhurried, each footfall carefully measured as though marking the rhythm of an ancient, silent song. Behind you, the golden roofs and towering gates of Xixia stretch upward into the sky bathed in the last light of evening. The colors have softened into warm amber and pale rose, and the lanterns swaying from long silk cords glow with a light so gentle it feels like starlight woven into paper. The air beyond the gate carries the scent of earth and stone, but mingled now with something else, the scent of open sky, of boundless wind moving over dunes without end. You pause for a moment, standing at the very edge where the city's careful architecture meets the endless simplicity of the desert. Beneath your feet, the smooth jade stones of the pathway give way once more to the golden sand, soft and warm, each grain catching and holding the light like countless tiny mirrors. You kneel slowly, your fingers sinking into the sand, feeling its texture, not just as dust or earth, but as time itself made visible, each grain shaped by wind and sun, carried across centuries. It is cool beneath the surface, cooler still the deeper your hand moves, until you can no longer tell whether you are touching sand or simply touching the memory of all that has come before. Your breath moves gently now, in perfect harmony with the world around you. Inhale, drawing in the warmth of the sand, the glow of the fading light, the quiet pulse of a city still breathing behind its walls. Exhale, releasing everything you do not need to carry forward. Old thoughts, old weight, old noise. Each breath becomes an offering to the wind, folded into its endless journey across the dunes, and then you stand. The sky has deepened now into pure twilight, no longer gold or rose, but the first pure blue of night. Stars shimmer faintly, scattered across the vast expanse like flecks of silver dust. You begin to walk again, your feet sinking slightly with each step into the soft sand. There is no path ahead of you now, no road marked by lanterns or stones, only the quiet line of the horizon, stretching infinitely forward. But you feel no uncertainty. The city does not vanish behind you, it lingers. You carry it with you, not as weight, but as warmth, the curve of scrolls wrapped in silk, the sound of bells chiming in the distance, the scent of cedar and ink and flowering trees. A single wind chime echoes faintly from the gate as it closes behind you, not as a final note, but as a gentle reminder. And so you walk. With each step, your body grows lighter. The weight of muscle and bone seems to dissolve gradually into the wind itself. Your breath slows further still, until each inhale feels like the rising of morning mist, and each exhale like the settling of evening dew upon stone. The stars brighten above you. The sand glows faintly beneath your feet, and the wind becomes everything, carrying your shape, your breath, your story into the great quiet beyond the walls. Now, there is no longer any division. You are the wind, you are the sand, you are the quiet pulse of Xixia beneath layers of time and memory. You drift now, endlessly calm, endlessly still, not gone, only present in a new form, as air moving across dunes, as light glimmering upon stone, as script carved into silent walls, and as the final star appears in the night sky, shimmering steady and sure. You rest completely, breath and wind, stone and memory. The story continues. The story becomes peace. Shall I now compile the full script, all chapters as a single, continuous, YouTube sleep story draft? If yes, please let me know if you prefer plain text, time-stamped segments, or subtitle-ready SRT format.